I'm a little slow.
Yeah,
I'm slower than a snail. What are you talking?
yeah.
Hey, welcome back to 863 Sports Buzz Podcast. I'm your host, Donnie Mack, along with your other host, Marshentime, Cody Morris. We're back here to give you the PITA up to date, most important information going on in sports today. Right now, there's not a lot going on, Cody. This is going to be a quick, short, sweet episode. We've got your three major sports going on. Of course, your World Cup. If you want to talk about that for a little bit, we can. There's not a whole lot going on. Everybody knows what's going on in the World Cup. There is a lot of exciting stuff going on in football and baseball nowadays, Cody. I want you're going to tell me everything. Bring us all up to date on everything you know football, man. And if
Listen,
you miss anything, I'll
listen.
try
There's
to
a
help you
whole
out.
lot of stuff going on in football. Well, we're gonna bring it up. We're gonna start talking about some injuries that happened. Jalen Ramsey going down for the Dolphins. Joe
That's
Burrow
a
getting
big
hurt.
deal.
Those are some big injuries right off the bat.
Yes, they are. Yep.
Kadarius Toney also got hurt, but let's be honest, I don't think he's had a healthy season yet, so that does not
We
be a
all
big
know about
surprise.
Raheem Mimes. Yeah.
But yeah, Naheem Hines, we talked about him last,
Yeah.
and that sucks still. But Jalen Ramsey and the Joe Burrow injuries, I think, are the big ones. You know, the Bengals went out and signed some more players. They went out and signed
Yeah.
another quarterback. But
Yeah. They have
and
to.
Dolphins signed Eli Apple. So
Yeah. That's a
Tyreek
big
Hill's,
deal.
I agree. I mean, he's never been like the greatest cornerback, but
No, he's a
to plug
veteran.
him in and to fit in,
Yeah.
it's not like he's the number one cornerback on the team. Xavier Howard's still the number one cornerback on the team.
Exactly. That's
So
the
it's
whole
not like
point.
he's has to cover the number one receiver every down.
Yep. I
And
agree.
to be fair, he's covered Tyreek Hill pretty good over the last couple of times they played him. So
Yeah.
that's Tyreek Hill. They asked Tyreek Hill, "Hey, how do you think this guy's going to do in the system?" He's going to do good. But hey, let's move on. Aaron Rodgers restructuring his contract.
Yes, he did. He did.
Huge for
That's
the
a big
Jets.
deal. Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. I mean, he's for a guy his age, losing out on that kind of money. But he wants the ring. Do I think he's going to get it in New York? No. But maybe it'll get him a little closer. You never know. I mean, maybe they can bring in some big name receiver.
Hey, one thing I will say, Cody, and I'm holding up my finger for a quick pause, man. That makes that division so much more important in the AFC. I will say that. That makes that division so tough.
Oh, don't get me wrong. That AFC East, I think, is the best division in football.
Yeah.
Between the Bills, between the Dolphins, between the Jets, if there are no injuries, that's the key point. No injuries, best division in the league.
Yeah.
No question, no
Yeah.
doubt. And I mean, I don't even see anything even close. Not even the AFC West is even close to it.
That's a big deal. But, back to Aaron Rodgers and restructuring his contract, the big deal after that, Cody, look who they had come in and interview right after that happened, man.
But
Delvin Cook himself. He came in, they entertained it. They
mm,
said, hey, we're
mm,
serious about supporting Aaron Rodgers. I don't think the running back is a big deal for them right now, but
it's
it
not.
could be. It could be if they
Mm.
got a guy like that, right? Am I
Dude,
wrong?
Brees Hall was insane last year when he was
Yeah, he
healthy.
was, but he's hurt right now.
But he's back. He's ready, man. He's ready for this
Yeah,
season. He's ready. And I think you're keep bringing in these running backs. You're gonna have too many hands in the breadbasket kind of thing. You're not gonna get any running back going. And that's what I think held Nick Chubb back for so long was Kareem Hunt. I think if
yeah,
Kareem Hunt wasn't in Cleveland, I think you're talking about Nick Chubb winning rushing title after rushing title after rushing title. Because I think
for
he's the best running
years.
back in the league.
Yeah, yeah,
But
I
he's
agree with
always
that.
been tied. His hands are tied. He can't do anything. And bringing in Dalvin Cook for them, I think is actually going to hinder him a lot. I mean, maybe he can learn a little bit from Dalvin Cook, but Brees Hall was insane when he was healthy. And
Yeah,
I think that's really
well,
going to injure him. So,
it does, but doesn't that and I don't mean to bring up our other episodes or anything, just how we just talked about if Derrick Henry was behind Aaron Rodgers, isn't that almost like the same factor when you put a Delvin Cook behind an Aaron Rodgers?
well, you got to remember it's not just because you put Dalvin Cook behind Aaron Rodgers, that offensive line is not going to change.
Well, yeah, that's a good point.
And
That's a very good
that's
point.
where they need to put their money. Their offensive line is below average.
That's a very
Like
good
in almost
point.
every single stat, they were below average last year. That's
But
where they should have been putting all their money in, or maybe a one big time receiver. They don't really have that big time receiver. I mean, their best receiver right now is Alan Lazard and Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson
now
had a great year last year.
I will say this. Well, I will say this though. Garrett Wilson did limp off the field with an ankle injury
He
the other
did,
day.
yeah, he did.
Also,
So, but I mean, he should probably be back by the beginning of the season.
well,
But
we
I
would
guess
all hope
there's
so.
probably one game that he won't be back for, and that's the game starting tomorrow night. Football is kicking off, sir,
You
in the
damn right.
Hall of Fame game
Yep,
between the New York Jets and the Cleveland Browns.
that's
Ah,
right, buddy.
football season is
That
back, man.
hey,
Football
that's a
season is ready.
that's an exciting game right there. Just when you think about
100%.
now we know none of the starters are actually going to touch the field in this game. Maybe
If
on
they
some
do, it's for like one drive, and that's it.
maybe
You
one
know.
try, but the exciting matchup of that in the regular season is going to be pretty cool,
Oh,
man.
100%, man. I'm
Yeah.
ready for that. Like, I'm tickled. I'm ready. I'm ready for football to be back.
So
It's so exciting to be back.
what with Aaron Rodgers restructuring his contract like this is my outlook on that. NFL's got a trade deadline just like MLB and every other sport, Major League Baseball. That could factor in at the trade deadline. Am I right,
That's true.
Cody? Or I
100%.
mean,
I mean,
I
like I said, like I was saying, they may bring in a big name receiver or something to bring him in with him and help him out if he's not, doing what he's supposed to. Which hopefully they're going to do good. Hopefully they're going to carry on, and make the AFC even the better division it is. And I
yeah,
hope they don't do too well because I want the Dolphins to do well. So we're gonna
listen, you look at
eight or nine games.
you look at both the AFC North and the AFC East, just those two. We're not talking about the West. We're not talking, and that division's slowly getting better. So,
Oh yeah,
besides your top bottom two teams, but the number three team has actually gotten better too over the off season, and we're going to
100%,
see that coming up soon.
100%. I mean, and the AFC North, I think is going to surprise a lot of people. I really do.
Yeah, I
That
think so
that
too.
division is going to be a really tough division as well. But the team from top to bottom, there's no. So the top three in the AFC East are all going to be, I feel like, in the hunt. New England Patriots, you can't count them out just because of Bill Belichick, but I don't think they're going to be in the question of it.
I don't
But the
think so
AFC
neither.
North, you got two teams, and Pittsburgh is coming up. Pittsburgh's going to be good in the next couple of years.
I
This
like
will
that
not be
boy
their
Pickens
year.
they got. I'm a big
Well,
Cincinnati fan,
yeah, I don't know
but
about Pickens.
I, hey, you see my hats and stuff around. I'm a big Cincinnati fan, you know that, but I'm a fan of the sport. But what I've heard out of their training camp so far, that he's been making those throws, those very important throws. And one thing
Yeah,
I hear out of training camps, when you start hearing those types of professional throws, that's something to watch out for when you're
yeah,
hearing
but
it
it's a
from
whole
Mike
lot
Tomlin.
different when you got a guy coming in at you trying to take you out at the same time.
Well,
I
that's
mean, just
true.
because you're
That's
making it in
very
practice
true.
doesn't mean you're going to make
Yeah,
it in
you
the
don't
game.
have your padded
Yeah,
helmets on and all
exactly. I
that.
don't. I
Yeah.
don't know if I. But let me tell you something. That George Pickens, that receiver. Woo-hoo!
Oh yeah.
Did you see the
Oh
catch?
yeah.
The highlight catch?
I'm
Oh man, that's
telling
pretty
you,
sick.
buddy.
That's
I'm
pretty sick.
telling you, man. That he's
Yeah.
nasty too. He had his own teammate pretty furious with him after that
Yeah.
play. Did you see that
Yeah. I
highlight?
seen that. That was a great. So,
So, let me steer you in a direction here. I don't want to get you off skewing what you're thinking, but the Jonathan Taylor deal, man. What can you make of that situation? What's going on there? Because
I don't
he
think
is a free agent next year. He is a
I
free
really
agent
don't.
next year.
But there's nothing that you can make out of it because what else are you gonna say about it? Like Jonathan Taylor's
What
he's mad. He wants out, and I don't blame
yeah,
him
what
for
is he?
what Ursay said about it. It's like, yeah, I would want out too. So I
Man, the
mean,
Ursays are always up to their old tricks, aren't they? Oh my
something like that,
gosh.
man. Crazy
What the
stuff.
heck?
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, well, if you run a guy like Andrew Luck out of Indianapolis, there's something wrong. Hey, Peyton Manning didn't
That's
hang
true.
around.
Yeah,
He
I
was
mean, but
running
he
stuff.
was there for a
He
long time.
Yeah, but he was making them money. That's why. And just
Mm,
when they thought that he wasn't going to make them no more money and he couldn't do it, Peyton said, "Well, I'll go over here to Denver and win
yeah,
me another one."
I'll
But
get, yeah, I'll get my
the,
championship over somewhere else.
well, look what they did with Edgerrin James. I
True,
mean, they
true.
disrespected Edgerrin James, one of the top 10 all-time running
Yeah,
backs in the league. I mean,
I'm gonna be
uh,
honest. The Colts have never been the smartest on that, so I don't really
yeah,
doesn't really surprise me.
exactly.
That's kind of how I feel
Eh,
about it. But the running back situation, I don't think it's going to get better. Maybe in a couple weeks, it'll everybody will kind of straighten out, and people will land where they belong and stuff. But I don't think it's going to get better for a while. I really don't.
I really don't either. I don't, and I'm with you on that. I think what it's going to take is an NFL players association meeting, and they're going to have to buckle down on some kind of limitation somewhere or some kind of incentives that they can earn and get their worth. Because these guys
Yeah,
are, yeah, Cody, I don't care who you are. As a grown man, life itself is hard. Let alone 350-pound grown men that are built for this stuff, just
yeah,
smashing you every time you touch the football. I mean,
yeah.
could you imagine a Demarcus Ware or somebody like that hitting you every time you got the ball snapped, or you're looking at an
No,
Albert
I don't even
Hainsworth
want to
for
think
good?
about it, man. I don't even want to think
I
about it. I
I
really don't.
mean, these guys deserve a little bit of money. We talked about that in the past, but what else is going on in your mind in the NFL today? What's
Man, there's so
big?
much more that
What?
I want this week. I mean, because we're just now starting preseason. I'm excited for, so maybe after a week or two of preseason, this will be a whole different story. But
Yeah, I think
there's
so.
some rookies I want to watch in the NFL, but
Well, how
I'm gonna hold
does
off on that until until maybe a week or two or something of
Well,
preseason.
let me ask you this before we go move forward, because we're pushing a little bit over 11 minutes now. But anyways, last one, big major deal signing for Tennessee Titans, DeAndre Hopkins. How does that help that offense and what Tennessee's got going on?
Listen, whenever you add D Hop to any team, it's gonna help your offense, especially when you
Exactly.
have Derrick Henry to run in the football. I mean, D Hop adds a whole nother system that they can't really stack all 8 guys in the box now for Derrick Henry. They gotta have somebody. They gotta have at least one or even a safety over top guarding D Hop. I mean, Ryan
Yeah.
Tannehill's not the greatest quarterback, but he can make decent throws. So I mean, you got to have
Yeah.
somebody on him. You got to be prepared for him, and I think it's going to open up a lot of lanes for Derrick Henry. And I think that's the big
I,
goal for that.
yeah. So do you put them in a playoff contender now with D
No,
Hop there
no,
and give them another
no,
dynamic to that game? No,
no,
you don't believe
no.
it?
I think their defense is too hurt. Their defense has lost too
You
many
think
players. I think their
Jacksonville still
defense is
got
going
them?
to kill them. Oh, Jacksonville's going to be a team to watch this year.
No,
Trevor Lawrence is going to take another step. Calvin Ridley coming in. It's going to be a huge, huge step with
yeah.
Trevor Lawrence.
Okay. Okay.
But hey,
So,
man, we
yeah,
talked
I
about
mean,
football enough. We talked about it. We seen it. We heard about it. Preseason tomorrow night. Everybody be ready to watch that game. Donnie Mac, what do you think about all baseball going on, man? It went crazy yesterday. I
it
know you're
kind of
excited
did.
about it. Let's go.
I am. I'm a little excited about baseball. The only reason why is because there's a lot of different teams in contention right now. Our Marlins,
100%.
our
Yeah.
Marlins, yep. Our
Make some
Marlins are
big
in
trades.
contention. Hey, they're in a big division too. We're just talking about divisions in football. The Marlins are stuck behind the Braves. Okay. And
Yeah.
I don't care who you
Now the
are.
Phillies.
And now the Phillies, yeah, here come the Phillies knocking on the door. And you know what the Marlins did? They answered the call, Cody. They answered the call. Our boys answered the call, and they gave us something to think about down here in the South from this day going forward. With the Marlins and with the thick of the NL, exactly.
Yeah,
Hey,
man. I
hey,
like it.
with them in the thick with the National League playoff race and stuck in the same division with Atlanta, like I
Yeah.
said, they did exactly what we wanted them to do. They went and got them a sure-handed closer, number one, and David Robinson to close
Yeah.
up the back end of that. He did blow a save last night. I will tell you that. That will not happen a whole lot much
Yeah.
more.
Everybody's going to miss one every once in a while. So,
Listen, if and he's going to have a whole lot of opportunities because not only did that, they went and got lefty Ryan Weathers too, out of San
mm-hmm.
Diego. They
I've
got
seen it.
him, and Hey, this southpaw's nasty, Cody. When you watch him, he's nasty. And he's just like David was. Remember we're watching David with the New York Yankees back in, a few years ago when he really broke the scene as the setup guy for the legend himself, the last guy to wear number 42, Mariano Rivera. Yeah, that's the same
Yes.
David Robertson we're talking about right now, and
Yeah.
he's still nasty. He will have all the save opportunities he wants down there in Miami, especially with Ryan Weathers bringing him into that. And I don't care what anybody says. That's the exact moves the Marlins had to do at this trade deadline, and they were big,
I
big,
mean,
big,
hey
big
man,
time
you're
moves.
leaving out some of the hitters they brought in
Oh
too,
no,
though.
I was talking about I'm a defensive guy. They had
All
to
right,
show up
all
their
right.
slugging percentage in the lineup. They acquired Jake Berger, number one, from the White
Yeah,
Sox, whom's hitting 25 home runs, which matches, the Marlins leader right now, and George Solar. He's
yeah,
got 25 homers. That's what Berger's got. He's only hitting about 225, but you know what? Josh Bell's coming in. He's got a lot of
yeah.
power. He hasn't been doing a whole lot of stuff. They got him from Cleveland. You know what? All they want from these guys, you got Solar, you got Berger now, you got Josh Bell. You can plug Bell, play Bell. Solar, he
Mm-hmm.
can play multiple positions. So now you got a lot of things. They've guys got power. When you got
100%.
Luis Arraez hitting 400 and
Oh my
ahead of
God,
him,
dude,
this guy
crazy.
gets on base. What I want you guys to do is just knock him in. That's it. That's what I want you guys to do. I want you to just knock our boy in. When he gets on base, that gives us 2 runs. If we can do that every third inning, we got a game plan right here. Because
Heck yeah.
we pull in our long stretch in that bullpen. We close it out with David Robinson. We got a game plan going forward, Braves. You guys are in trouble. You better look out. This National League race is going to get hot, and it's going to get hot quick, dude.
Heck
It's
yeah,
going to
man.
get
I'm
hot
excited.
real
I'm
fast.
excited.
You want to
Oof,
add
man.
any more to that to the Marlins?
Listen,
Because
listen.
I'm
The
going to move
Marlins
on
are
from the
going
Marlins.
crazy. Hey, you hit the nail on the head with the Marlins. They went crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know what we didn't talk about is that one play that I showed you, the Marlins base running.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Remember
yeah.
that, man?
Go
You got to
ahead, go
bring that
ahead.
in,
Talk
bud.
about.
You got,
Hey,
dude.
throw it out there. Throw it out there. Go ahead
The
and talk about
base
it.
running. I love base running, and I love watching it. If you guys didn't see it, the Marlins and the Tigers were playing. The guy got caught in a pickle between second and third base, and he played this so perfectly. The second base, I think it was the shortstop actually. It was coming back over, playing pickle, and the guy did run for the Tigers guy to take him out, so he automatically gets third base.
Yeah, mid run, like quick,
Such a smart play
like
that
Barry
most people wouldn't
Sanders.
even think about.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
wouldn't even think about it, and it was just such a good base run. Exactly. That's good
Baseball
coaching, good base
IQ.
running. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I was so excited about that. But hey, we can move on, man. What other trades did you really catch your eye? What are some winners, some losers, all that good stuff, man? Who you got?
Well, that was a big pickle for the Marlins, and I agree with you on that. And if you watch the replay real slowly with that pickle, you can see where the defensive guy that was got rid of the ball already was trying to dodge him, but he was still in the base path. And that Marlins player, I forget who it was. I forget who it was on
Oh,
base, but the
yeah.
baseball IQ in him, he did like what I would call an NBA flop. He jumped into this guy basically, and
Pretty
he got the
much.
call. He got third base. That's baseball IQ. And like I said, we'll move on from this.
Yes, sir.
Uh, the Angels. The Angels, this is a quick hit for me. You can probably agree with that. So the Angels decided to keep Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani, okay, he's too valuable to us. So we're going to keep him. Okay. That's the right
Yeah,
decision in my mind.
I agree.
If you're going to follow it up and you're going to get you some pitching and you're going to get you some offense to go along with Mike Trout and get Mike Trout another pennant. Come on, guys. So they did do that. The LA Angels
It
did
definitely
do
helped him
that,
out.
Cody. They went out, they got not only did they get um CJ Chrome, but they got Randall Grishak, and I can't pronounce his name. But both of these guys are very good power hitters. CJ
Hmm?
Chrome, as we know, been in a couple of markets, but he started in Tampa Bay. We watched him in Florida for a couple of years at first base, and CJ Chrome played the outfield. He played in LA before too, and he's just back in LA now. Randall Grichuk, and he's going to give you some power. He's going to hit you 280. They not only did that, and they went and got some power behind that. They got Mike Moustakas also. We all know who Mike Moustakas is, right?
Yeah, I would say so. I would hope so.
I,
If you're a
I
baseball fan.
Yeah, so I don't have to harp on that. But anyways, they didn't only do that; they followed it up with some bullpen help and some very important bullpen help. If you're going to keep a guy like Otanti and you've got Mike Trout on your roster, go ahead and bolster it. Try to make you a freaking run because you don't have Otanti very long. They got Ronaldo
Yeah.
Lopez along with Escobar to bolster the bullpen. And Ronaldo Lopez, he's got some nasty stuff. He's a nasty right-handed pitcher out of the bullpen. He can get you through 7 and 8. He can even come in and give you a couple of spot closes and a couple of spot saves just to get the deal done. But LA did the right thing at the trade. I wouldn't call them the winner at the trade deadline. I do have my opinions as far as winners at the trade deadline. But staying in an American League, I'm going to follow it up.
Hey,
And, well,
I
go
just want
ahead.
to bring this in. I just
Go
want to
ahead.
bring this in.
Yeah.
So the Angels, you have 26 starters when you first opening day.
Yeah.
They only had 16 of them aren't on the team right now. They're all injured or they got designated. So they're changing. Their roster is changing.
It's
So
slowly
that's really
flipping.
either
Yeah.
either through injuries or not. If they bring some of the injured players, it may be a different story too. So the Angels are looking like they could be a strong team in the postseason.
Well, you're right. There's a couple of key offensive weapons. And when I say offensive weapons, I mean on base percentage. I don't mean power
Mm-hmm.
hitters. They loaded their lineup with those power hitters. Like I said, your Mustakas, CJ Crone, and Grichuk. Grichuk can hit you he'll get you on base. He'll get you, I think he's got 800 OPS right now. 7 or 800, which isn't high. Don't get me wrong. And that's not
No,
outstanding through the roof, given where he was stuck at.
it's
But
consistency though.
it's very consistent, and he can hit for pop. The Duke can hit for pop when it comes off that
Mm-hmm.
barrel at the right time. We've all seen him do it in Toronto and over in St. Louis. So, not only that, these guys they got coming off an injury, and I can't remember who it was. It was one very important one, very big average on base percentage hitters they got on the injury list. And they're not, you're talking about the 60-day DL, you're talking about the 30-day DL, and one's on the
Yeah,
15th. Yeah. So it's going to be a while before they come back, but they're going to come back just in time as long as LA can hold on to their position right now.
that's the hard part. But hey,
That's
what
the
do you
hard
think?
part.
We got to talk about this though. I think one of the biggest losers, and everybody say might be losers. The Mets were supposed to be so good this year,
Yeah.
but they've gotten rid of everybody. What do you think about this? Like,
Well,
what's going on?
now you opened a can of worms with me because, like I told you, I've been on this baseball thing for the last couple of days, dude.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I think about this. You're right. They had Max Scherzer, the Justin Verlander, the whole deal. What they were trying to experiment. What they unloaded everybody,
They did.
everybody, and that's what you mean by this. But at the beginning of the year, this is an experiment. Well, what you have is the most money and owners in MLB. That's what you have with the New York Mets. And I forget his name. He's got a weird name. His first name is
Yeah, I'm
weird.
not even gonna try to say his name.
I'm
So
not going to try and say his name, but that's what you have. He has more money that you can even think of. You can't even throw a rock at this money. He'll blink at you. And this is what he's doing now. Wrap your mind around this. He bought everything up front. Now he's got all these trading chips at the trading deadline. You know how much they got back in their farm system for what they
they
sold
got a
out?
lot. They got a lot
They
in the farm
lost a,
system, but
they lost a lot of money. Now they lost a lot of money during these trades, but what they're going to get in return after these guys start
mm,
coming up in the system, that's what he's shooting for. You
but
got to have money to make money,
you're
and
saying that, man.
that's
Mm.
exactly what they're doing. I'm telling you, exactly what they're doing.
But you got the problem is you don't know what you're getting in the farm prospects.
You don't.
Like
You
you
don't.
think you do. You're getting rid of Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander.
Okay.
I,
You haven't said
Probably two of the
anything.
top 15 pitchers in the league.
Well, you got 5 years max between the two left on their careers
Mm,
before they start going to the bullpen. Listen,
ooh,
I
man,
understand what you're saying. Listen, because I'm going to back you up when I move on to this Texas
oof,
and Houston
oof, oof,
situation. When I move on to
ooh.
it, I'm going to back you up what you're saying because Verlander's having a Cy Young year. He is
Yeah,
having
he's
a Cy
doing
Young
pretty
year.
good.
Scherzer's not the nasty guy he used to be. He wasn't the ace of that rotation. Verlander was, and he's having a nasty year. He's back on that stuff, and guess where he's headed back to now? So this could all bode
Back to the
well.
champions.
Yeah, back to the chat. That could all bode well, and I follow you with that. When they unloaded everybody, they got no, they didn't just say, "Okay, I want a shortstop." No, they got three shortstops. So if one or two
Mm,
of them doesn't work out, they got the third one. They didn't get one; they got two and three of them. In every position you can imagine, they are loaded in that farm system. Go look at some of the numbers and some of the makes that they got from those trades, and you'll understand what I'm saying. It's a make
listen,
money,
man.
and we'll have this conversation in 2 years when these guys start breaking the majors.
Could
Yeah,
or
yeah.
we could have the
Well,
complete opposite and be like, well, the
or
Mets
we could.
just ruined their future, kind of thing.
Or or we could, but that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to play the money game to make money in the long run. That's all he's
Mm,
trying to do. Instead of waiting and holding out and buying at the deadline, he's selling at the deadline to try and build for the future. It's the only reason why he got those enticing picks. And now he's got those two teammates playing against each other in the same division. How interesting
that's
is that?
true. That is true, and they're right neck and neck with each other too, which is awesome.
Neck and a half a game. Houston was a half a game behind Texas
Yeah,
yesterday
until the no hitter.
until the no hitter. That was awesome by the
Yes,
lefty,
sir.
the only one in the history of the Houston
Yeah,
Astros.
one walk, one
Nice.
walk. That was it.
That was awesome,
And
dude.
then done in
Complete
like
game
94
shutout.
pitches or something too, man. It was crazy. Like, wow, impressive.
Complete game shutout, no hitter. That was
All
awesome.
right, man. You got anything
So,
else? What else you got?
well, I'm gonna simply I'm gonna make this real short and sweet. I'm gonna stay in the American League. There's nothing to talk about in the National League as far as I'm concerned. There are a few moves with L.A. Dodgers, what they made with Lance Lynn. And those guys over there, but we know what Dodgers are going to do. They're going to stay in contention. They're going to try and reboot that with Clayton Kershaw on the DL, and some pitching help. They went and got it. But I'm going to stay in American League and one of the best teams, the league leading or their division leading Baltimore Orioles. Did you
Yes, sir.
watch? Did you watch? Yeah, did you watch this division and what they did and on the trade deadline? This whole division was silent. This whole division
Yeah,
was damn near silent, barring Tampa Bay. At the deadline, Tampa Bay was silent because they got their moves done a little bit ahead of time. They bolstered their bullpen and their starting pitching. That's about what they did. Now, if Tampa Bay can come back to swinging the bats, they can get back in the ball game. But nobody made any moves in that division. Baltimore is the only one that made a key move, and I think it's kind of important. It's not huge, but it's pretty important. They went and got Jack Flaherty from St. Louis Cardinals. Now we all know that name. He is a good
oh
starting
yeah.
pitching. And what he's going to do is he's going to take the 3 or 4 hole in that rotation, and he's going to eat up innings. And come playoffs, when they have those four guys that they can count on either the four of those guys to come in, eat up some innings, and save it under 2 runs, that's going to be huge. And Baltimore has not let up.
Oh yeah.
They have been doing this all year. They're secretly doing it under the radar, and it's pretty cool to watch.
They really are. I mean, it's been quiet about them. Not many people have talked about them, but
Oh,
they're leading a big division. With the Red Sox and the Yankees. I mean,
that's a big deal
right
when you
there.
got names. Yeah, when you got names like Aaron Judge and these guys over here with the
Hmm.
Yankees, and you're competing against that Mookie Betts. I mean, you
Who did
can't
absolutely
compete.
nothing either. They
You
didn't do
yeah,
anything, which is so weird. But
and
hey,
and
I
here
mean,
here's
that's
Baltimore. Hang in there, Baltimore. Go O's, man.
yeah, heck
Hang in
yeah.
there,
I'm
guys.
rooting for you.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, go O's. So I guess we'll move on to Texas and Houston, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
because that's pretty bit. That's pretty much
that's
where I
pretty much
want to
all you
go.
got.
I mean, this is the biggest deal right here. These are your two biggest winners at the deadline.
But
Okay,
you just said it wasn't a big deal for the Mets to get rid of him. How are they the
it
winners then,
wasn't.
man?
It wasn't. It well the Mets. The Mets went. I
Oh
didn't say they
man.
were the winners. I said these two.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I said it didn't hurt them. What they were trying to do,
Okay,
I
okay, okay.
understood what they were trying to do.
All right, all right.
Um, What I don't have the money these guys have, so why they're trying to do what they're doing, I don't know because I've never done it that way. I'm too scared to do it that way, so I would never do that. But on to the two winners, and I think at the trade deadline, and that's the Houston and Texans, the Houston Astros and the Texas Rangers. Um, this is kind of a big deal only because of that race in that division. Houston, they're I mean World Series champions. So the Texas Rangers. They're no strangers to being in the pennant race neither, especially against Houston. They were only up a half a game against Houston, as we said, and Houston just acquired Justin Verlander. Like I said, he's got a 3.15 ERA right now. He's in Cy Young MVP form. He just won AL Cy Young last year, I do believe, or the year before. Um, that's a big deal for them. Not only that, because he joins that rotation as we was just talking about that complete game no hitter, Cody. That lefty just threw in
Yep.
93 pitchers. That's a pretty big deal. That's a pretty big deal when you're joining a rotation like that. And the last person, matter of fact, the last person to do that for the Houston Astros, can you guess who that was? Yeah,
Uh,
none only than Justin Verlander himself.
uh,
None only than Justin Verlander himself. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I call that a big deal right there.
yeah.
Um, I don't even understand the whole deal behind the whole Houston Astros lineup because they shuffle that starting lineup. If you watch it, they shuffle,
All
and
the
I think
time.
I think they're just pitching to play. That lineup is what they're doing. So that I think that'll give Justin Verlander a little bit more rest, which is very important going down the stretch against the game or a series going against the Texas Rangers. Because
Yeah.
Texas did the same thing. They went out. They were leading that division. They don't want Houston to have any daylight. Their offense is extraordinary, so they went ahead and bolstered that starting pitching because they got everybody hurt over there and their starting pitching. They went and
Yeah.
got none other than Justin Verlander's partner, like I just said a few moments ago, Max Scherzer. They're 1 and 2 aces. They just split and went to division rivals. Not only did they do that, I think this was the biggest deal was Jordan Montgomery going to the Texas Rangers. That was a big deal. This guy is so nasty. When you talk about under 3 run ERA, this is your dude, man. If you haven't seen it, go look at his numbers, man, and look at him pitch. This guy is serious. Jordan Montgomery, for sure, will take the Texas Rangers deep into this pennant race. I guarantee that.
Okay. Okay. I believe it, man. I believe it. You sold me on it. I'll have to watch it now. I haven't really paid attention to him too much, so
Well,
I
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
have to
it's a
watch it.
big deal. I mean, it's a big deal. I mean, Colorado pretty much unloaded every player they had, Cody, and which who cares? Colorado's 12, 15 games in the basement
Yeah, and
anyways.
we've seen their amazing shift. So
Yeah, they're in a complete utter disaster. Like I said, the Dodgers and San Francisco made a few key moves, mainly in the rotation in the bullpen, because their offense is going to stay pretty much toward their defense.
yes,
They're
sir.
centered
I
around
agree. I
they're
agree.
centered around defense over there, and we all know where Mookie's at and what he's going to do. I think the biggest winner at this trade deadline, though, to be honest with you, and I don't want to be a homer here, and I'm calling myself a homer. And I'm going to say it's the Miami Marlins. They made some very important moves in that division. They're trying to
Important
chase it.
moves. Yeah.
They made very important moves for somebody being that far behind in that division with those two teams that you got to race against, and you made the
Yeah.
moves that you made. Okay, you just sent Gene Segura gone, but
I
and
agree.
I said, and when I started talking about the last two teams, I said these two together are you two winners because of the way they're in that division right there. In the AL, not the National League, Marlins are my big winner at the trade deadline, and then of course I go to those two teams splitting it there. It's very hard to do to give a winner at the trade deadline for
100%.
MLB,
Hey,
but
man. So we got. We'll finish it off. One more topic. One more
one
topic. We
more,
got
one
one
more.
question.
Okay.
One question. Jalen Brown, Boston Celtics.
Well, I got another
Was he
question.
worth that much money?
I got another question after that, and hell no. I'm sorry, Jalen Brown. You're a good player.
Hey,
Hey, you're
Hey, he
pretty
just came
good.
out and said that, man.
Hey, but you're pretty good, Jalen Brown. I like it, brother. Hey, that's good. That's good for you, and that's not so good for the NBA and all the franchises that's going to follow when these guys want contracts. Jalen Brown, you're not that good, man. You're not. Yeah, when I look at you play basketball, I don't look at a KD, an MJ, a LeBron James. That's the kind of contract you got, brother. That's not what you
5 year,
deserve.
304 million. Yeah, that's stupid.
I'm not going to hate on you, brother. I'm not going to hate on you, but you just ruined the next 4 or 5 years for the Boston Celtics. I will tell you that. Way to go, man.
Almost $60 million
Way to go.
a year.
They
Whew.
don't have that much money. They can't make any moves around you. You got your money. You got what Boston wanted. Hey, I'm happy for you guys in Boston. We'll see you in the
Yeah,
playoffs after Damian
yeah, yeah.
Lillard
And then you'll be
and
done.
Miami Heat knocks you down, buddy. So I'm sorry about that. That is not a good deal for me. I think that's a thumbs
I
down for a
agree.
signing on Jalen Brown. Go ahead, spill your guts. I know you want to say something else there, Cody.
I
Go ahead.
completely agree, man. I truly completely agree. That
Well,
was I don't even. He's not even the best player on their team.
he's not. That's I mean
That's the
that's
part that gets me. Like, how are you
uh,
paying him that much money for the second best player on your team? No, get out
I
of here. You can't do it. Nope. I'm not. Just that's it. That's it.
I will
Go ahead,
say
man.
this.
What kind of question you got?
What I don't know about that deal is any kind of incentives or back kicks or player options. I don't know any of
I
that.
hope
If
there's
teams got
none.
any, I I hope that the team has got options to unload him after
Hmm.
2 years. I really do. I really do. Because that's the only way they stay in the contentions in the next 5 years.
Yeah,
But the
they're
question I
done.
got for you, listen, now that we're talking about the Heat, and I said Damian Lillard,
Okay.
he hasn't gone to the Heat, but the Heat has proposed a mega deal to the Portland Trailblazers for Damian Lillard. Why is Portland
That was
I don't.
weird.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't know why Portland's taking their time. First of all, and tell us a little bit about the deal, man. Tell everybody a little bit about the
Dude,
deal and what Miami actually came up with, man.
listen. I mean, this is speculation too. To be fair, there's really not any proof on it, but just the talent alone they're offering for him, Tyler Hero. There's not a better young player in the league. Am I right? Or am
Ah,
I wrong?
well, I mean that's
What?
to a third team. That doesn't go to Portland though. That's to a third team.
Well, no, they offered to him Portland first.
Oh, really? And
They tried to give him Portland first,
then they
and then Portland's
restructured.
like, we don't
Okay.
want him.
No
Portland said
kidding.
they don't want because he's not.
He's a young player. That's what
Ah,
they're building. That don't
that's
make sense.
exactly like what is wrong with you? Like,
Not only
what do
that,
they say?
what
4 first round picks?
yeah,
Are you
3 to 4
serious?
first round picks. Exactly.
Get
Exactly. 3 to 4 first
out of
round picks.
here!
Hey, and then there's a
Like,
few
oh,
players, without contracts that they were
oh.
offering up also, but I
Well,
mean,
they. I mean,
what's holding Portland up, Cody? That's the real question. Why
they
are they
want.
is it Scoot Henderson? Would they want him to see? Do they want him to see him that bad?
They want Damian Lillard to stay. That's what it
Yeah,
is. That's
that's
all it
yeah,
is. They
that's
want
all it
Damian
is.
Lillard to stay, and
Are
they
are
don't
you
want to trade
worried?
him.
Let me pose this question to you. Do you think they're worried they're trying to hold out for maybe a third team to come in and give an offer?
What else are you gonna get though? What else better offer can you get other than Tyler Hero, 3 first round picks, and another? It was like a younger player. I think they were giving him a choice between Omar. I'm not even gonna try to say this guy's last name.
Yeah,
Or
I know who you're talking about.
like get out of here, man. You got to
Beating a
get
dead
your head back
horse.
into this, back into the reality here. Because
Yeah,
they're in no man's land. They're in like fairy tale land right now. Like they're trying to get everything they can for the guy, and they're just like reaching for stars. Like, here, we need this, all this stuff. Miami's like, what? Like, don't get me wrong, Miami Heat want him, and they deserve him, and I think they need him, and it's going to be a crazy team if they get him, and I'm excited to see if they actually do get him. I'm ready to watch. I'm ready to watch Miami Heat basketball again.
Hey, that excites me about Miami Heat basketball. Not only were they in the championship last year, but now D. Lilly, he's calling for a
It's
Miami shot.
crazy.
Hey, you know what? I love it. I love it for our life down here in South Florida. But here's the reality of it, though, Cody. And this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Portland's going to hold out so long. They're going to make him play. They're going to make him see what they're going to put together on the court. And they're going to wait a couple of months before that trade deadline. I think they ultimately will trade him, but Miami's going to
Oh
get
yeah.
tired of their crap, and Miami's going to downplay their offer. They're going to bring it down.
I agree. I
I
agree.
and I think that's
I
the
think
best
Miami's
case
gonna be so annoyed
scenario
with it that
for Heat fans. That's the best case scenario for Heat fans. Let Portland hold out so we can get him cheaper, right?
I agree. Hey, I'm down. I'm down. I'll take him for just give him 3 first-round picks. We'll keep Tyler Hero too. Why
Well,
not?
that's our
You know?
update, man. That's our three
Yes,
sport
sir.
update. Real quick, real easy. Big deal for me was the baseball deadline. Cody harped on a little bit of preseason football coming up, and the big deal with restructuring the contracts, the whole 9 yards and running backs, and we update a little bit on basketball. That's it for our weekly update. Cody, hey, go ahead and sign us off, brother.
Hey, we're signing off here on the 863 Sports Buzz with your host Donnie Mac and Marshentime. We'll see y'all next week for another episode of PITA.